probably gonna come back here.
What's good, everyone? What's good? What's good? Hope everyone's having a blessed Sunday. Y'all know what it is. This is another episode of the Southern Baller Show. You got a full panel today. Got my brothers with me. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And just gonna go and check out the brothers, man. Brent Fox, how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm so happy to be with you all, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm glad you're able to hop on. Coach, 67 Sports TV. What's going on, man?
I'm blessed and highly favored. How y'all gentlemen doing this afternoon?
Can't complain, man, at all. Glad you're able to take time out your schedule and hop on, man. And
Yes,
JB,
sir.
what's going on with you?
What's up, man? You know what it is, man. Blessed to do another show. You know what I'm saying? And ready to knock one out, man. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have some boxing going on Friday and Saturday. And there was some good fights, man. Of course, yeah, when you get a chance to talk about, the fights, you can talk about the fights I don't have posted, but of course we're gonna talk about the main victories. Shout out to Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, getting the victory, shaking that rust off against Tyrell Herndon, 7th round TKO stoppage. I'm a big, those who don't know or are aware, I'm a big Wilder fan. And I'm glad he was able to, get a tune-up. And then he confirmed, shout out to 78 Sports TV. He did an interview with him. I think they shot it yesterday, but in 78 aired it today. He confirmed that he's going to have a couple of more tune-up fights to get everything situated because during his past fights, he was dealing with some personal issues, so he wasn't mentally right. So, and he didn't say that to make any excuses. He was just saying that not everything was right in the camp. And what I mean by camp is his home, his friend, around his friends, all that. So he had to, shake the trees, cut the grass, and get them snakes out of his yard. So I'm happy for the champ Deontay Wilder. Shout out to Kid Austin, Floyd Schofield. He KO'd Tevin Farmer in the first round, which I'm eating crow. I chose Tevin Farmer to beat Kid Austin. So, man, shout out to the young boy, man. He proved most of us wrong. And then, which we all figured, Jake Paul embarrasses Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. A unanimous decision. It was embarrassing on a former champion. We know Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is a lower tier type boxer. He did technically win a hold a belt. Was a former champion. So just to put on that type of performance was embarrassing. And losing Jake Paul. I mean, don't get me wrong, I give Jake Paul his props, but I mean, you were a former boxer, former champion. Come on now. But either way, and then I'm gonna go around the panel and get y'all feelings about these fights and any other fights that I missed or I don't have posted. Y'all welcome to talk about. Brother Brent Fox, what you thought about the fights?
Okay, I will start off in order. Now, there was a fight that we didn't talk about. It was the Christian and Billy fight with Marcel Saleke.
So yeah.
So that was pretty much a one-sided fight. And Billy just kept hitting him with right hands, and eventually just wound up like just kind of beating the will out of him. And as a matter of fact, they called the fight after a vicious uppercut. I think it was like in the 5th or 6th round. Oh no, I'm sorry. He knocked him out the first round. I'm thinking about something else. He knocked him out in the first round. So yeah, he ended it that quickly. But yeah, it says a lot about the about where Selecki is at more than it does about where Billy's at. I think that Billy is going to be a great. He'll be a great champion eventually. I just think that guys like Canelo or David Benavidez would probably give him some trouble, if not beat him. But Billy's a really good fighter, though. I mean, despite that. But I think that there's probably going to be somebody standing in the way if he's trying to be unified or if he's trying to be undisputed at 168. But he did put on a good performance, though, nonetheless. The Deontay Wilder performance, I loved his jab. I loved his left hook. We just got to get the timing down on the right hand. And shout out to the General 78 for having an interview on this morning. He's going to continue to work against guys kind of like Herndon was. And, salute to that strategy. I would rather him, build himself up the right way and then, go off and then just start running through guys rather than just, jump him out there. And then things could possibly happen like Big Bang Zhang or Joseph Parker. So salute to them. Salute to his team on looking out for, really looking out for his best interest. I definitely appreciated that. Something that I did not appreciate, and I'm going to just go ahead and skip ahead here. Jake Paul and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now, I'm going to go ahead and circle back around to Kid Austin and Tevin Farmer, but I got to address this first, man. I should have known better when Chavez Jr. actually signed on to do the fight with Jake Paul. I never had him winning anyway, but I was hoping that he would at least try to have some sort of pride for his family name, and himself, more importantly. He just basically showed the world, he is who he basically is. And that's somebody that's living off of his father's name. That's somebody that just will settle for being mediocre at what he actually does. That's somebody that simply just doesn't have the heart, to build his own legacy. So, hopefully we don't have to hear from Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. again. Now, on a more positive note, shouts out to Kid Austin for the first round knockout of Tevin Farmer. That was surprising. I did not see that coming. Neither did Tevin Farmer. But that, yeah, the performance that he actually put on was nothing short of amazing. And shouts out to Kid Austin. I'm not gonna say anything about his father or anything else like that. But he knows he in several interviews has said, he knows that the general public doesn't really like his father, but that's his dad. What's he gonna do? But yeah, shouts out to the fighter, Kid Austin, for a great performance and overcoming mental and psychological adversity. He was really emotional in the post-fight interview, and it kind of helped reinforce to see these fighters as human beings. But that's enough of me talking, brother. Thank you all so much for letting me, cook on the boxing topic. We'll go on to the next person.
No, we appreciate your feedback, brother Brent. I see everybody in chat, man. Salute Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk. Salute everybody. He says, salute, man. Appreciate you, man. And he's also a content creator. Y'all please go support this brother. Big Joe Townsend, salute to the family.
Hey, brother Joe.
What's good,
Always
Big Joe?
support, man. Always supporting LDBC. And of course, that link is there if you have time, big bro. 86 Ghosts, we in here. Appreciate you, man. Always supporting. And going to you, Coach 67 Sports TV, what you thought about these past fights?
Well, first of all, in terms of Deontay Wilder, shout out to the General 78 Sports TV. Of course, I was in back-to-back church services today. It was our pastor's 41st year anniversary at his other church, and then we had normal church service at our church. So I didn't get to check out the interview yet. I'll catch it probably a little bit later on the day. But
please,
I'm not gonna lie, in terms of Wilder, I was happy he was able to shake the rust off and able to get in some work, get in some good rounds. You know what I'm saying? Some people have been critical of him. I'm not gonna really, go at any other content creators, especially LDBC family members. But at the end of the day, I really think he did a good job shaking the rust off. Whatever he doing, I'm gonna rock with him. I'm gonna support him. So major shout out to Champ. As you can see, my avatar for the day's show. So major shout out to Deontay Wilder. In terms of Kid Austin, brother Brent said he's not gonna talk about his dad, but I will. I think his dad is a buck dancing buffoon and a coon at times, but not to focus on his dad. I think he had a very impressive performance. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I thought Tevin Farmer was gonna win. I know some people was like, hey.
I did too.
Yeah, I know some people like, man, hey, I knew he was, and I'm like, man, come on, man, y'all capping, bro. I mean, don't get me wrong. If somebody like the general said, yeah, hey, I knew Floyd Schofield was gonna win, I could respect it coming from somebody like him. But I'm not gonna lie, I thought Tevin Farmer was gonna, I thought Tevin Farmer was gonna win. So that's why I was so shocked not only that Floyd Schofield won. The fact that Floyd Schofield won, it didn't surprise me. The fashion in which he won was the major shock to me. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it a buck. So I think for Kid Austin, I think he's gonna go on to bigger and better things. But in terms of Tevin Farmer, maybe we can eventually get that Tevin Farmer Mickey Bay fight that we never actually got. Who knows? Maybe we can, maybe we can't. And lastly, in terms of Jake Paul, man, I'm not surprised that he whooped on Julio the way he did. Man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think, really, it kind of makes me question if Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is actually Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.'s son. I mean, even though I always talk about how, Sweet Pea actually beat Senior. One thing we could say about Julio Chavez Sr. was he was a dog. You know what I'm saying? He lived up to his heritage, his family name, all that good stuff. But I'm not gonna lie, maybe it's the fact that, first of all, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think that's legitimately his son. But even if it is legitimately his son, maybe it's because he's spoiled, he's selfish, he's entitled. Maybe that's why he never lived up to his father's name. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. Man, his son is just flat out embarrassment. And he just didn't start being that. He's been that for a long time. But last night was the icing on the cake. The fact that somebody with your pedigree and your father's name, the fact that, you just basically lay it down like a dog and you let Jake Paul whoop up on you. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm going to give Jake Paul, a small amount of credit. He's a much improved boxer, even though he's not fighting like elite level competition. And hopefully, Tank Davis is not foolish enough to actually fight him. But at the end of the day, Julio Chavez Jr., he made a fool of himself. So that's why I'm going to call him Julio Fulio, you think. But that's all I have.
Yeah, it was hard to watch, man. Now, salute to J Bar. He said salute. Family in chat, thank you, always support and appreciate you. JB, what's your thoughts on the fights?
Man, I love seeing Champ get out there, man. What I wanted him before he fought. What I wanted from him before he fought Zhang and Joseph Parker. But I know Champ and him and Earl Spence have that mentality where they don't like taking light touches. I think Deontay just decided to get the cobwebs out. You see him working some stuff. I loved it. Herden had the same movement like Spilker. You know what I'm saying? He was uh, more agile. I think that was a good matchup for Wilder, just to work on his timing. I enjoyed the fight. As for Kid Austin, I'm like the rest of you brothers. I thought Tevin Farmer was going to. I picked Kid Austin to win, but I think Tevin Farmer was going to make it difficult for him. I was not expecting a first round knockout. Tevin Farmer is usually more durable than that. So congrats to Kid Austin. And as far as Chavez Jr., I never want to see Chavez Jr. again. He ain't used no type of jab. He just came in with his hands up in that shell guard, letting Jake Paul style on him and work all kind of angles, and then in the like I would say 8th to 10th round when he was trying to press the action and actually hitting Jake Paul, you can see it affecting Jake Paul, and that made me more angry because I already knew. Look, man, Jake Paul is not going to beat a real boxer. If he get in there with Badu Jack, if he get in there with somebody with that caliber, he's going to lose. They're not going to let Jake sit there and style on him like that, like Chavez did. Chavez allowed Alex. What's the UFC fighter
Anderson
name?
Silva.
Silva beat him in the boxing match. So I already knew he was washed, which
Right.
probably was the reason why Jake Paul picked Chavez. But I'm not hating on Jake Paul. He doing what he's supposed to do. Somebody who just started boxing a couple of years ago, so I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at the dudes like Chavez Jr. He's the reason why Jake Paul exists, because you got boxers like this who are blessed with, you blessed with a Hall of Fame father, you blessed with opportunity, and you just want to piss it away and bullshit. So I'm kind of glad you got your ass whooped last night. I didn't see the Billy fight. I'm hearing the brothers in the LDBC talk about Billy, that he's good, and he's up and coming. He's maybe a candidate for Canelo in the future. We will see, but I'll have to go back and watch that fight.
Okay. Good feedback, y'all. Okay. Anything else y'all want to cook on regarding the cards from Friday?
Yeah,
and Saturday?
I do.
Go ahead.
I just want to give a little special message to Win Antonio Tarver. Mr. Tarver, where's your keeping it 100 video on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.? I mean,
he was quiet, wasn't he?
Part of everybody else, but where's the keeping it 100 video on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and how embarrassing he is to boxing and how embarrassing he is to his own father? Why don't you keep it 100 on that?
Well, with Devin Haney, he had a lot to say, huh?
Yeah.
Shout out to 78 Sports TV for pointing that out on the other brothers.
Let me piggyback off my brother Brent Fox. I'm gonna keep it 100. The way Antonio Tarver has been moving, it kind of makes me wish that he never beat Roy Jones Jr. in either of them.
I know, right?
3 fights. I'm not gonna lie. I wish that before he moved up and he fought Ruiz, that he would have took care of Tarver before he moved up. And had it not been for that, I don't think you would even see Antonio Tarver in the position he's in.
Yeah, it's like when Roy went down, like the way I think he beat Ruiz and he had to lose all that weight, all that muscle. His punch resistance.
Once he went up and he came back down, and Roy beat him in the first fight, I think Roy should have took that close win and just said, "Hey, I'm gonna call it a career." But him coming back, to fight the rematch and then eventually the third fight in the trilogy, that gave Tarver life. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, I legitimately feel like Glenn Johnson beat Tarver when they fought anyway. But at the end of the day, I feel like I wish Jones would have took care of him before he moved up and he fought Ruiz. Because let's keep it a buck. Antonio Tarver ain't nothing but a bootlicking Uncle Tom. I can't stand him, being a coon in the jig. On top of that, in terms of Wilder, I just want to see him going a little bit of a bum bash and, just get a few tune-up fights. And then in terms of Julio, man, I'm going to keep it a buck. You right, and y'all right. I think Jake Paul picked him for a reason, but I think at the end of the day, it kind of made me feel like some of these fighters like laying down for Jake Paul. That's why I hope Tank Biggins is not stupid enough to fight Jake Paul. That's just my personal opinion, because when we talk about, when we actually did the Black Man Suspected episode, when we talked about Rocky and James Clubber Lang talked about setups, that's all Jake Paul fighting setup fights, I know he's not an experienced boxer, but it's obvious he's fighting setups,
Amen to that. And then also, you got to remember that Antonio Tarver's Rocky character was Mason the Lion Dixon. About that, man. I should have known better when he picked that damn name for that movie. Like, it's just a lot of stuff rushing in, bro. I'm more disappointed and upset with him for not standing firm at some point for folks that look like him, rather than just, shuffle along and disrespect whoever he got to get to where he feel he need to be. Don't come begging for our help, Tarver, when they turn on you. Don't come begging for our help.
That's facts.
No, I think Tarver be taking that booger sugar. That's just my opinion. But
No, that's a fact, bro. That's a fact. He be on it. He's even admitted that he's been on it.
Oh yeah, he's synonymous with taking a booger sugar,
Mm-hmm. That's probably why he, him and Tyson Fury got that, crackhead chin. So
yeah, man. Yeah, it was. My main thing is I'm glad Deontay got the win, even though the caliber of the opponent wasn't all that. But that's the point, right? It's a tournament fight. Because when he's fighting people like Big Bang Zhang and Joseph Parker, and when he loses, people are shitting on him, and instead of respecting him, just willing to jump in, going back to back, fighting fighters back to back. That's in the top 5 or 10 in that heavyweight division.
Exactly.
So that's That's what I'm happy about, man. And shout out to Floyd Schofield, Kid Austin, even though his dad is something else. But let's move on. We didn't have a show, so I wanted to put this segment in a little, just to talk about and congrats to Thunder for winning the in the NBA Finals. Congrats to SGA and Luke. I ain't gonna lie, my favorite player on that SGA is a bad boy. Don't get me wrong, but Lou Dortz is a dog on that defensive side. He's a dog, man. He was, and he got a. I love how he shoot the three. But congrats to the Thunder, and then of course you can't take nothing away from the Pacers. And as quiet as it kept, if Tyrese Halliburton wouldn't have got hurt, I'm gonna go as far as say they probably might have had a chance to win it. Because they have showed they have always showed showed up and rose up to the occasion. But fortunately, Tyrese Halliburton, those who don't know, got hurt in Game 7, and then the Thunder took advantage of
He
it.
was on fire too.
Yeah, he was. Game 7, yeah, he started off hot. Because a big criticism for him, like he would, I thought it was smart, but the big criticism with Tyrese Halliburton, he would get, everybody else started, dish off a pass to everybody else, and then he'll come on later. But Game 7, he was hot. Coach, I'm going to you first. What did you think about the finals?
First of all, it was a great NBA finals. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Congratulations even to the Indiana Pacers who was the runner-ups. They won the Eastern Conference. They lost in Game 7. But in all actuality, Tyrese Halliburton got hurt. He really got hurt in Game 5. He played hurt in Game 6.
Yeah, you're right.
And then he hurt his quad in Game 5, but he tore his ACL in Game 7. And truthfully speaking, I've been watching a lot of content lately, in terms of like Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett talked about it. They talked about it on Gilbert Arenas, on Gil's Arena. Basically, they were saying how, so many of these players are getting hurt in terms of, in terms of Tyrese Halliburton, what his name is for the Jason Tatum. And one thing too, somebody pointed out on the coach's show, like all the players that tore their Achilles, they all wear 0, which is ironic. Like Tatum wears 0, Halliburton wears 0. But in addition to that, what Garnett and Pierce and Gilbert Arenas was saying is basically the type of training these NBA players do not compare to, the type of training they did in the early 2000s. They think it's what's leading to like all the injuries. Like they do like more individual work for like 30 minutes, whereas back in the early 2000s, like it was a lot of 5-on-5, and they did a lot of off-season conditioning. So, from a theoretical standpoint, they say that's the reason why, like Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton and all these players getting hurt. So, but I mean, the problem with the NBA now is, in terms of the Western Conference, like, you got a young team like the OKC Thunder. Hey, it's gonna be hard for other teams in the West to knock them off. With all of the, I'm not gonna lie, the LA Clippers really got fleeced on that deal, big time. They still got picks. I think they still got a pick coming up next year from the LA Clippers from that deal with PG-13. So I'm not gonna lie, the OKC Thunder gonna be a team to deal with. And of course, you had a lot of movement. The Phoenix Suns traded Kevin Garnett to the Houston Rockets, and the Boston Celtics, since Tatum got hurt, they gave Brown a big bag too. The payroll was gonna be like over $500 million. So they traded Drew Holiday and the unicorn Kristaps Porzingis. So it's gonna be interesting to see what the season looks like next NBA season. Of course, the Eastern Conference is gonna be completely wide open, but our West is gonna be a dogfight. It's gonna be real tough in the Western Conference. But it was a great season, and congratulations to OKC Thunder.
Oh, and another thing, what did you think about the draft that just happened?
Well, I mean, we knew that Cooper Flag was gonna go number 1. I mean, I don't care what nobody say. For the Dallas Mavericks have the projected number 14 pick, and for them to come out of that, have the lowest percentage chance of getting a pick, and for them to get the number 1 overall pick, it's obvious and it's apparent that the draft lottery is completely rigged. So, Cooper Flag went to the Mavs. Then after that, Dylan Harper, because one of the teams that preferred destination for Kevin Durant was the San Antonio Spurs, but I think they're trying to use the OKC Thunder blueprint in terms of, they're just going to get a lot of good young players instead of them, trade some of their young tradable assets like the Rockets did to get KD. Basically, what they just opted to do was, hey, we're going to take Dylan Harper with the number 2 pick. I was hoping the Pelicans could have moved up and got Dylan Harper with the number 2 pick, but the San Antonio Spurs, they coveted him, so they ended up taking him with the number 2 pick. And then after that, everything just kind of went the way it went. Ace Bailey fell to, the Utah Jazz with number 5 pick. He really was trying to get to the Washington Wizards with the number 6 pick, the Brooklyn Nets. But he didn't get what he wanted. But, overall, in terms of the NBA draft, I think Cooper Flag going to be a problem because what he did with the U.S. national team, the work he put in against that, the U.S. national team that, of course, myself, Brent Fox, and a bunch of the brothers, we was watching the U.S. Gold medal game against France last summer with Wemby and them, and the type of work Cooper Flag put in, in practice against Drew Holiday, the way that he was talking, like he's cooking Holiday, and what he did this college season, he did his thing. So he gonna be a problem to deal with. Of course, Kyrie gonna be out probably most of the season. AD is injury prone and made of butter. But you got Cooper Flag, you got something to work with. You still got Lively. Gafford gonna be out a while too. So the Mavericks, they're gonna. I think eventually they could be a contender, but they got a lot of injuries to deal with. But OKC, on top of the mountain, they're gonna be the team to beat. But it's gonna be a dogfight out west. The Phoenix Suns in shambles. So, it's going to be tough for them. In the Eastern Conference, it's completely wide open. Another trade a lot of people haven't been talking about is how the Orlando Magic gave up so much to get Desmond Bane from the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, that was a stupid trade to me. You gave up, 4 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps. Desmond Bane is a solid player, but, I mean, that type of haul for him, y'all acting like he like SGA or somebody. I don't see it. But at the end of the day, I think the next NBA season going to be, something to watch. And if there's any more Achilles injuries or torn ACLs, MCLs, or whatever, it's going to be interesting to see how NBA teams and training staffs, how players condition moving forward. Because I think Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Gilbert Arenas and his whole cast, they brought up some interesting points in terms of the way these young players train nowadays. I think that's the reason why you're having so many major injuries, because they're not training like the players back in the gap there,
Right. Okay. And that's definitely the reason why I went to you first. I know your head is all up in the NBA news.
Yeah, I'm a basketball coach, so I love the sport.
Exactly.
Well, of course, I coach football too, but football is my first sport. But I love basketball too, though.
Exactly. That's why I went to you first. Brother Brent, what did you think about the finals and the draft if you watched it?
I'm probably going to repeat a lot of stuff Coach just said, but I'll sum it up. I think that the finals was actually a very good finals, and a lot of people are underselling it because they were small market teams. But my belief is, and I'm just, I'm kind of like a sports purist. If both teams are good, then they're good enough to watch. And a lot of people are forgetting that the Pacers actually led the series at one point, and then the Thunder actually had to come back to regain the title, period. But yeah, I do agree. If Halliburton hadn't gotten hurt, who knows how the game would have turned out? Because I think at one point in Game 7, nobody else but McConnell actually scored points. in the third quarter, and then they just could not get it together after Halliburton got hurt. But yeah, big salute to the Oklahoma Thunder for actually coming together, doing what they needed to do, and then winning. And they shouldn't be slighted just because there was an unfortunate situation with Tyrese Halliburton. I think that's sports has injuries. That's a part of the game, unfortunately. But I mean, it's still up to the team to take advantage of that. And, shouts out to the Oklahoma Thunder for being able to do that successfully and then securing the championship. It was a really good series, and people should stop underselling it because they're two, small, quote unquote, small market teams. If you can play, you can play. People should be able to just watch and enjoy the game. That's all I got.
Oh, hey, that's an interesting point you brought up, Brent Fox. Now, the series as a whole, many people weren't watching it, but that Game 7, since this was the first time you had a Game 7 in a long time, it was one of the most watched games in like NBA Finals in a long time. But I'm not even gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest. I think once Halliburton got hurt, I think initially the OKC Thunder, I think there was a bit of letdown because I think they underestimated the Pacers. Once TJ McConnell came in at point guard. But, once they really got it together in the second half, I don't think the Pacers really had a shot. But I'm going to be honest. I think even had Halliburton got hurt going into the finals, OKC was they were the favorite to win the championship for a reason. So I'm glad it went 7. But truthfully speaking, I felt like OKC was going to win it anyway because they just have more in their war chest than the Pacers. So I think that's why they was gonna win regardless,
Okay.
Okay, all right. Jada6 said my boy Caruso got the second one and flexed the Laker one at the parade. Okay. Salute to the autism boy. What's going on, man? Yeah, the Thunder are the champs. Okay. JB, what's your opinion on how did you like the finals, and what's your opinion on the draft, on the this past NBA draft?
I mean, it was I enjoyed the series, man. The finals is exactly how the brothers and yourself put it. I thought it was going to be a more competitive finals, Game 7, until Halliburton got hurt. Halliburton was on fire. He hit 3 long-range threes in a row. Then after that, you can tell that the Indiana Pacers, just looking at their bench, they were shook. They were trying to force shots and turn the ball over a lot. And then just OKC just ran away with it. So congratulations to OKC. Congratulations to the MVP, SGA. And as far as the NBA draft, all I was checking to see who was my Detroit Pistons on the pick in the second round, and we picked up a wing player from Tennessee, Lanier. He's a 3-point shooter, and I guess we picked him to replace Tim Hardaway Jr. So that's what I thought about the finals and the draft.
Y'all might pick somebody up to replace Malik Beasley too, because he in trouble with gambling allegations, right?
Yeah, I seen that. So, I mean, Malik was very a key piece. He was very the reason why we were in the playoffs this season. He was on fire, hitting those threes. So hopefully we don't lose him. And then, like I said, if we do lose him, that's probably why we picked up Lanier, the kid from Tennessee. So
I hear you, autism boy, but it all depends on the pieces they put around LeBron. Autism boy said he hope the Lakers get a playoff push.
I
Jada
don't
Six
see it
said,
happening.
yeah. Jada Six said signing Hartenstein so Chet can play the 4 and trading for Caruso, another tough 3-and-D player next to SGA and Dort was genius. It was. That's all they needed. That's all they needed. Like my Miami Heat, all we would need is a score. We need a score.
And y'all lost that with Jimmy Butler. So y'all need because y'all got people who can shoot from long range. Y'all got the shooters. Y'all just need a Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade type player.
Yeah.
Another star.
Yeah. And we picked up this Lithuanian player from Indiana, Kasparas Jukasonius. He, from my highlights, he's a good scorer, but he turns the ball over a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So people are saying he's a steal of the draft. We gonna see.
Oh, how does he turn the ball over? Just curious. Is it something like maybe he needs work on his handles, or he's making?
From what I see, he's trying to make a play and turning the ball over.
Oh, okay.
Running into double teams.
Okay, all right. They can probably coach that up, is what I'm getting at. I think
That's why I'm thinking they drafted him.
Okay. Yeah, I think if they coach him up, he'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. Jada Six. See, Jada Six know who he is. He said trying to force it and panicking, and yeah, his assist to turnover ratio is ass. It is. It is, man. But yeah, congrats to the Thunder, man. It was one of the best playoff. Not just them two, but everybody involved in the playoffs. Everybody made it entertaining. But moving on. Yeah, all you content creators was shitting on the Haneys and talking shit about Bill Haney and Devin Haney. Well, the damn fight's been made. So know what you're talking about before you spread the content. So those who don't know, Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. fight is confirmed. Yeah. And I just want to go through the panel, see what y'all brothers think, man. Brent, going to you first.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I am ecstatic about this fight actually being made. Going to be very difficult to pick a winner, but I look forward to doing the fight breakdown on each fighter, as I mentioned in my show. And I'm more happy that we had a chance to actually talk to the two direct parties involved to sift through all the BS that, I'm not going to name no names or call people out. That's just not me. But y'all know who y'all are. Y'all was making content saying that the fight was off. Y'all was making content saying that, it's just not, they said that it wasn't going to work and they not doing, one side is not doing this or the other side's not doing that. Now that it's official, you need to correct your behavior first and foremost. And then secondly, get back to actually finding out what's what with direct sources. Quit running off and trying to make headlines or get clicks and views saying ridiculous stuff that's not even remotely true, and then trying to disrespect the sources that actually get the truth. That's all I'm gonna say about that for right now. But I'm really glad that the fight is actually confirmed, and these these hate content creators and these people that try to do stuff for clicks and views and likes, y'all know what y'all can do.
Yeah, for real. And shout out to 78 Sports TV. He was one of the main people on the front line telling people, hey, don't believe that the content creators are spreading the foolishness. He has direct contact with Bill Haney in the camp, and he was trying to tell y'all that wasn't the case. Well, fight
He
has
had a
been made.
with Norman Sr. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy, y'all. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. And Norman Senior is also cool with a lot of people in the LDBC. So yeah. They got the resources. People in the LDBC got the resources. Y'all need to listen. Jada Six said, Brian is waxing that ass with lemon pledge from old girl that's on the Family Guy. We gonna see. We gonna see. One way to find out. You know, I'm a Devin Haney fan, so I think David Haney gonna be smart. Stay away from that power and outbox the boy. But we gonna see. Jay Barr said, I'm a Heat fan, but watch the Pistons, and Bill Haney is the father that I strive to be. I hear you. Yeah, Pistons are gonna definitely they're my team to make it far in the playoffs next year. Coach 67 Sports TV, what's your thoughts on the fight being confirmed?
Can y'all brothers hear me?
Yes,
We
sir.
sure can.
Well, I'm not gonna
Yes,
lie.
sir.
To be honest with you, I'm excited about this particular fight. I think it's gonna be big for the culture. It kind of reminds me like the kind of buzz that was around the potential fight between Devin the Dream Haney and Mr. Gary Russell Jr. That fight was gonna be big for the culture, but you had too many, outside people that was just kind of, making stuff hard. I'm not gonna lie. Batman really was trying to push to make that fight. May he rest in peace. Black fight fan, blue blood.
Rest
Like
in peace to
a lot of
Batman.
the LDBC brothers was really trying to push for that fight, make it happen. But at the end of the day, it just didn't happen. So I think the fight between Devin Dream Haney and Brian Norman Jr. because of course you've had content creators like my brother 78 Sports TV, like the beloved sister Queen Shawala. They interviewed Brian Norman Sr. Of course, Bill Haney, he rocks heavy with the LDBC. He one of the nicest people I've met in life. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm proud of both of these fighters. I'm proud of both of these fathers, and I think both of them have done a great job. And I'm not gonna lie, this fight here I think is gonna be big for the culture. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's gonna be big for the culture, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. JB, what's your thoughts?
Man, it's going down, bro. That's all I gotta say. It's going down. Brian Norman is one of the young pups, young fighters that I've been had my eye on, that I'm a fan of. I like his pops, and I like my boy Devin Haney, who always been getting shit on his name, but he's willing to fight anybody that's dangerous. So it's gonna be a good fight. Devin Haney should win as long as he stick to his game plan of being a boxer. Because if he try to trade with this boy, it may not go too well. But I got Devin Haney for the win.
Okay. All right. Any more feedback or anything else y'all want to say about this topic before we move on?
No, I'm good. I'm only speaking for me, though. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good also.
Good.
All right, bear with me, fellas. I'm trying to get the win the day. I know Turkey is going to be promoting it. Bear with me because I'm trying to look up the day.
More than anything, I'm glad they're breaking bread together. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
gonna be a good look. Hopefully, it's a great payday for the both of them. You know.
Exactly. Now I am happy that that we are getting this type of fight.
So it's gonna be in November, fellas.
Okay, November. Okay. Yeah.
Coach Hudson, man. What's going on, Coach Hudson, man? You were cooking. You were preaching yesterday, man.
Oh, fellas, I'm sorry. One thing I want to add. I'm glad the Asian kid that Brian Norman Jr. knocked out. I'm glad he got his memory back because at one point they said he couldn't remember anything. So I'm glad he's doing well, and I'm glad he got his memory back. You know.
Yeah, I did too, man. You never want nobody to go through that, you know what I mean? Especially after this fight, participate in this dangerous sports, but that's the risk, right? So, praise God, man. But Coach,
yeah, that's what Wilder been trying to tell people. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what Wilder was trying to tell people. But y'all make sure y'all support Coach Hudson and like him and go to his channel and subscribe, man. He got good stuff over there, man. Okay, since we done cooking on this topic, let's move on, man. Okay, the meat of the show. Collusion confirmed. NFL collusion confirmed. JB, take it over, man.
So, you remember last year, especially as Ravens fans, where we were freaking out over the Baltimore Ravens not signing or extending or giving Lamar a contract. So Lamar asked for a trade. Now we know at the time it was a tactic by Lamar because when the owners was trying to reach out to Lamar and say what team he wanted to be traded to, he didn't respond. He was acting like there was something wrong with his phone. But the reason why we are bringing this topic to the forefront is it was confirmed by a writer, an insider, and the brother's name is, I want to make sure I get the brother's name. What's his name, Jared?
Pablo Torre.
Shout out to Pablo Torre. And shout out to the other and Mike Florio, punk ass, even though he was hating a little more, but shout out to Mike Florio. But I want to say thank you to Sip the Tally.
Yes.
Thank you to Lunch Break Hot Take. They did
the Road Podcast, yeah.
Road Podcast, Hendo, and other brothers from Flock Nation for touching this topic and explaining it to the fans. So long story short, fellas, we were all correct. The reason why Lamar didn't get signed when he asked for a trade is because there was a secret meetings being held, according to the insider writer. They were trying to figure out ways of not giving players guaranteed contracts. Now, there is other stuff that's going along with it. I'm just giving you the short version. You brothers go to Sip the Tally, Hendo, and all that to get the ins and outs about the JC Trotter dude and others dudes who play the dude who was
Dominique
Foxworth and all those guys. The hell with them. I'm not talking about them.
Right.
The long story short, we was correct. We knew that the owners were colluding against Lamar, not trying to get him what he deserves. And now we know that NFL teams will on purposely be ass just to line their pockets, not to spend money. So do you know that, and I know this is going to hurt Coach feelings, and I'm sorry, Coach. Do you know that New Orleans had a chance to sign Lamar, but they said, no, we just going to go with Rattler. The Atlanta Falcons, they didn't want to give Lamar a guaranteed contract, but they're signing an old ass Kirk Cousins. How'd that work out?
It didn't.
And it all comes around. So the reason why people are mad, because look, man, there's a lot of fans that know football. There's a lot of fans who play football, coach football. They may not have gotten to the levels that some other people were blessed with, but I know a lot of people who are educated and know football. You know what I'm saying? So when everybody was saying, hey man, Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in this draft. He had an ass offensive line. He don't have no running back, and he's still putting up those numbers. He's still, it's just like when you see guys like DeAndre Hopkins still getting 1,000 yards, and they don't have a quarterback. People who got it. And we watched the Steelers. We watched the Saints. We watched the Giants. We watched all these other teams that needed a quarterback. Hell, the Colts. So we don't know how Anthony Richardson is going to heal up with that shoulder. He's having shoulder issues in camp, I hear. All these franchises that needed quarterbacks said nah. And then people are quick to say, well, why would owners be colluding? Shut the hell up. We know what the fuck we see. Lamar should be being paid more than what he's being paid.
And I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. I want him in Baltimore, but damn it, like J. Cole said, I love to see a black man get paid. So
if he would have won a Super Bowl with, to your point, Jared, if he would have won a Super Bowl with New Orleans, so motherfucking be it. Right. If he would have won a Super Bowl with the Atlanta, so motherfucking be it. But now you know there's the gritty ass owners having secret meetings and all that bullshit, sneaking and tiptoeing around this motherfucker just not to paying their players. They did that with Kyler Murray, putting in synonyms. He gotta learn the plays. He gotta read the playbook. He can't play video game. And they was trying to shit on Russell Wilson. But you know, it is what it is. So I hope Shedeur, me saying that, we can confirm that what Shedeur went through this past draft was planned. It was discussed. It was agreed upon to make Shedeur look a certain way. So all these, and I remember all you motherfuckers talking about, well, you know, Shedeur ain't that good. You know, that's why he failed. You can't convince me that Jackson Dart is better than Shedeur. I'm sorry. I watch too much football. I got Ole Miss fans saying that Jackson Dart may be a good quarterback years to come, but he wasn't the best quarterback in the nation. No, he was not. Because there was in certain games where he lost the game for them. I'm sorry, Steelers fan, and I'm sorry, Brent. You can't convince me why you would take Will Howard over Shedeur.
I'm not going to try to.
I'm sorry. Right. And I know we haven't. Go ahead.
Nah, I'm going to let him finish cooking, man. I'm not going to interrupt the cook now. Go ahead.
Right. And Saints fan, you're not going to sit there and convince me that Tyler Sow Doe, whatever his name is going to be a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. I am an ACC watcher.
Wait, I call this man Tyler Sourdough.
Been struggling with the Tar Heels for years. Hell, we just got relevant a couple of years ago. Shout out to Mac Brown. I know what a elite quarterback look like. Still remember Lamar tore our ass up in Chapel Hill in a pro system, and I've seen Tyler that quarterback before. He may be good. He may be a great backup quarterback for y'all. He may win y'all a couple. Who knows? But he wasn't the best quarterback in his. I wouldn't say he's better than Shador. So now, I went on that rant and rambling just to say, just know when you see these teams doing shit like this, just know what it is. Just know they're greedy. They're trying to save money. They're picking lesser talent, hoping they can develop them. There's nothing wrong with that in certain situations. But when you have in personal situations, man, I'm gonna be real. You can't tell me, a Baltimore Ravens fan, that Shador Sanders, may be a problem. What the fuck you mean? This is coming a franchise where, we had Ray Lewis and his situation in Atlanta. I'm not gonna go into that. People who know. Ray Rice knocked out his wife in the elevator. Justin Tucker, that situation with his massages. And you had players with known issues still get drafted number one. Jeremy Tunsil had a weed Star Wars helmet on, whatever that is, smoking weed. The reason why Baltimore didn't draft him, we draft what's our boy, Ronnie Stanley. It should have been Larry Tunsil, but because he was on that type of stuff, we picked Ronnie. So, but he still got drafted number one. There are worse players that get drafted high, round one or two, that have issues or past situations dealing with character. You guys did that because you didn't like his daddy. Deion, and I know Deion I have my problems with Deion football wise and the Ryan Garcia situation, but it's mostly football wise.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, he's a great father, and Shador and Shiloh don't get in no trouble like that. Now I know he just got a speeding ticket, but normal average Americans get speeding tickets. They don't mean they're terrible, in society. So I'm sorry about the long rant, fellas. I'm gonna let somebody else speak on this. It's just I just get mad. There was multiple stuff on the TV, on the alphabet stations, on the content creators talking about, it's not colluding. You guys want to make everything about race. You guys want to make everything about, the man or whatever. You guys, and then it turned out we was right. So I'll just leave it there.
Well, I'm talking about JB. Get him.
Oh, man, I just let him go, man. I just let him go.
You just gotta go.
After that, man, Brent, what you got to say?
Oh, you will put me on the spot. Man, that's gonna be hard to follow up. What I will say about that is this. Not only is this the era of F around and find out, this is also seemingly the era that those in control want to piss on our head and tell us that it's raining. Like, I agree, JB. To some extent, we always gonna see differently on the Steelers, but I agree to the extent that Shador was unfairly he was unfairly made an example out of. The New York Giants and their GM, I don't know how the hell he still has a damn job. This guy's a guy that got rid of he got rid of he got rid of
Saquon.
They got rid of Saquon.
Barkley.
And then he lost Daniel Jones in the same year. How does he keep his job? How does he keep his
job? One correction, brother. Just put some salt on the food while you cooking. They signed Daniel Jones and let Barkley walk, and then Daniel Jones turned out not to be shit. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he left the team, right? He went over to be a backup to the Minnesota Vikings that same year, right?
Daniel Jones, yeah, and then he's over here with the Colts.
Yeah, so he lost both of them within a short amount of time. Let me rephrase that. He lost both of them within a short amount of time, and he still has his job. He skips over Shedeur Sanders, still has his job. Picks up an old boy from Mississippi, and then I guess it's all good because they picked up Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. Okay, all right. I guess I get to live to fight another day. No. And then with this situation with there's no collusion. Y'all are just upset and emotional is what they like to use. Oh, you're just upset and emotional about this. Take the emotion out of it and look at this from a business perspective. It's still bad business. If you're building a roster, period, it doesn't matter whether or not it's the NFL, whether it's college, whether it's high school, whether it's Pee Wee. You are going to get players that are best suited to help your team win. There is no way that you can tell me that you skip over somebody that may give your team a better chance to win. All right, just to prove a point. Like, okay, they did the same thing to Eli and Phillip Rivers. Eli said that he didn't want to play for San Diego. San Diego drafted him anyway. New York wound up drafting Phillip Rivers. They traded out. They called it a trade. They called it a day. All right. I mean, they could have easily have done something like that, but no. We got to make an example out of him for whatever reason. We know what the reason is. And then, when Lamar was actually getting drafted, the reason, and this is a well-known fact to, anybody, the reason that he refused to run his 40 time was because he didn't want to be typecast as a skill position player. They were going to try to make this boy into a wide receiver. Yeah. But no, there's no collusion. No, there's no collusion. And then it was real funny come draft time or come around combine time and come around draft time. And we're talking about how Lamar's being able to throw certain routes was underdeveloped. How he wasn't quite able to read defenses the way that a Heisman Trophy winner was supposed to. Is the NFL defense going to be too complex, quote unquote, for him to be able to read? He may not be able to throw this route. He might not be able to throw that route. Well, all this stuff conveniently comes up when it's actually time to try to draft him. And yes, I think that there was collusion in there because he was a very last person picked in the NFL draft. Like, this man won a Heisman, and you mean to tell me that, he can't get picked in the first, he damn near can't get picked in the first round? Like, that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I'm sick of these folks telling us, oh, no, you shouldn't be so emotional. You're reading too much into this. Nah. And then, they send brothers that look like us to try to pacify us and be like, well, hey, man, I've been in the business and, Yeah, there are things that go on, man, but this ain't one of them, man. It's just business, man. Y'all shouldn't take this too personal and all of that. Unfortunately, people got to say stuff to get, to keep collecting their check. People have to do it on regular jobs. I get it. But I just wish for once, and shout out to the gentleman that actually uncovered this as a writer for unveiling this. But yeah, I am so sick of people higher up trying to piss on our head and tell us that it's raining, and thinking that we're not intelligent enough to decipher actually what's going on. I'm gonna just go ahead and leave it alone before I get too long-winded, because I'm already long-winded anyway. But I'll just stop it right there, man.
No, you 100% correct, man. You ain't lying, no lies told. Coach, I definitely want to hear your opinion on this.
Well, I mean, truthfully speaking, it's been obvious and transparent for a long time for me. Whether we talking about the Lamar Jackson situation, whether we talking about the Shedeur Sanders situation, but I think that the situation that was painfully obvious was the Colin Kaepernick situation. There was no way you cannot tell me that all of those owners did not conspire against him and say, you know what, we gonna keep this guy out the NFL for the political stance that he took in terms of taking the knee. And they always try to redirect him, but yeah, you're disrespecting the armed forces and this, that, and the third. Well, he clearly gave you his reasoning and rationale for doing what he did, and it had nothing to do with the armed forces. It had to do with the social injustice, But instead of them just trying to be honest and transparent, they kept trying to move the goalposts and insult our intelligence. And just think about it: the NFL actually blacklisted him, blackballed him, and he was not able to get back into the NFL. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I know the NFL from a competitive standpoint, it's the highest level that you could be on. But truthfully speaking, if I was him, I just would have tried to win playing another league. Even better yet, once you got the settlement, try to start your own league if necessary, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think the Colin Kaepernick situation or Shedeur Sanders, I think these situations are obvious, obvious examples of collusion in terms of the owners, and even with the Lamar Jackson situation, they felt like the Browns owner was stupid, and he gave Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed contract, so they didn't want to open Pandora's box. We know from a talent standpoint, even when Deshaun Watson was at his best, he wasn't as good as Lamar Jackson. So to prevent that situation, they decided they wasn't going to give him a fully guaranteed contract, and it was obvious. So at the end of the day, these are obvious examples of collusion that, they can, the NFL, whether they want to or not, they couldn't hide. It, to me, it's been apparent for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. I think that our collusion's been going on, but I think the like you said, the most obvious one was the Colin Kaepernick situation years back. So you're definitely right, Coach. But anything else y'all want to say regarding this collusion topic?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't be too surprised about any of these types of tactics, these corporations, and let it be known that the NFL is one of the world's biggest corporations. Will do. They can do all the NFL cares and all that other good stuff to kind of like put some sugar on it, but it is what it is. They're still a corporation, and they're still going to serve their own agenda and protect their own interests. There you go.
Yeah, and I can honestly understand why there's some brothers that say that they don't watch the NFL, and a lot of these brothers, played football before at a high level, and they don't want to watch the NFL because of they know things going on. So I understand. I definitely understand. Me personally, I can't. I definitely gotta watch my football. But as far as I understand why they say it, because it.
Yeah, honestly, when the Kaepernick thing first started, Jared, I sat out like a few weeks. But I kind of realized that I was out there, fighting alone. You know how it is when brothers
Yeah,
try to take you for something. You out there by yourself, and I went back to watching it. Admittedly, I'm halfway ashamed about it, but I tried to like get out there and show support and do what I was supposed to do. But wasn't no support, so I just went back to watching the game.
I went back after Kaepernick got his little deal from Nike. I said, okay, he's straight now. He don't need the
no, let me
NFL.
tell you when I went back watching when white people was like, I'm not gonna watch the NFL no more. Okay, I'll be watching it Sunday. First thing Sunday. Because
And
they was
then
mad because they were doing like the NFL was trying to play the black people, having the black national anthem and having brothers put their fist up and stuff like that. So that upset a lot of white people. And so they didn't want to watch the NFL no more. So that's when I went back.
I mean, if we did them like we could have done Target, I think that we probably would have gotten a lot further along. But you got owners down here like Jerry Jones that'll just do anything to make people come watch the game. So it'd be too enticing for some of these folks with lesser wills to kind of like turn down. You remember, COVID was going on, and he still was selling out the stadium. So yeah.
Yeah, man. But we gonna wrap up the show. But before we wrap up the show, I'm gonna put y'all on the spot. Give me top 5 of all time. Your top 5 of all time, and we do the top 5. We not trying to say these are our lists. A lot of people don't like doing the top 5 because all the greats are the greats, but we still gonna do our top 5. So Brent, what is off your head? What is your top 5 cornerbacks of all time?
You just going, okay, that's cool. Okay, so as far as coverage corners, we all know who's number one, and that's going to be Deion Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
I got to throw my boy Rod Woodson in there.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to throw in Champ Bailey. I think Adias Williams was also sorely underestimated. And then that's 4, right? And then my 5th one, oh man. Okay. I'm gonna just go with Donnie Shell.
Okay. Donnie Shell, all right. Coach, who you got for your top 5 cornerbacks of all time? Coach, you on mute. Oh, you better go in and go back out. Okay, JB, real fast, your top 5 of all time.
And my first 4 is about the same as Brent's. You got Deion, Champ, Aeneas Williams, and then I'm gonna do just because I'm a Ravens fan. I'm gonna go Chris McAllister, and who's gonna be my 5th cornerback? I'm gonna go with what's the cornerback from the Steelers?
Mel Blount.
Either Mel Blount or Darrell Reeves. I'm gonna go Darrell Reeves.
Oh yeah, Darrell Reeves is from Pittsburgh, yeah, but he played with the Jets and the Patriots, I think.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do my top 5. I'm gonna do No, you good, man. We about to wrap it up anyway, man. You good. Appreciate you hopping on, man. My top 5 is going to be Deion, Ty Law, Champ Bailey, Darrell Reeves, and my 5th one is going to be Aaron Glenn.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my. If we're gonna put cornerbacks on the roster, that's my 5. I'm taking with me. Of course, you're supposed to have at least 6, but that's my 5. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, family. Brent, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
Yes, I have a channel called It's Just Me, hosted by Brent Fox. I usually try to do shows on Thursdays, usually around 7 to 8 p.m. Here on YouTube. Please check out the content.
Yes, sir. And Coach just put his list. He said Deion Sanders, Aeneas Williams, Darrell Reeves, Darrell Green, yes, and Mel Blount. Yeah, that's a good list right there. Very good list. And speaking of Coach, y'all, please, if you haven't done so, please go to his channel, like and subscribe. He has his coaches show, and he has Southern Jaguars content, HBCU content, because he's a Southern Jaguars alum. He's also co-host with me with the Southern Baller Show, of course, and, every Sunday at 3:30, and then on Saturday when we can, on the Black Man's Perspective, every Saturday morning around 10 or 11 a.m. He also has the Wire analysis with me, him, and 78 Sports TV. We're recapping the season 1 of The Wire, and everybody's liking it so far. So yeah, please support everyone. And JB, let everybody. Well, you ain't got a channel, but any final words?
Hey man, 4th of July week is coming up, and weekend is coming up. Have a blessed week. Keep going after your goals, and I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Well, this was another episode of the Southern Baller Show. Y'all have a blessed day.
All right, y'all. We'll holler.